Abusia yeni komo ewo channel yi so how say AGH politics avenue podcast or training be kwesi make headlines na jemre na edibi exomo onua ye bo era ye former Chief Justice Atuguba asoye na OSP say court etimi age eye ne power wode ye prosecution afri ni nsem no onua papa yi ababonten so abekasa afa ho a ehu behia say ye bi ebesomo na ye bebo era na soye na yaji kwaku na nkasa efro no nkasa anu aha AGH politics avenue yamon insemfo anim.
The legal scrutiny around the powers of the Office of the Special Prosecutor is intensifying, with development in both the Supreme Court and the High Court drawing national attention. Today, the Supreme Court granted the Attorney General 7 days to file a statement of case in a constitutional challenge that could redefine the prosecutorial authority of the Special Prosecutor. At today's sitting, a Chief State Attorney representing the Attorney General explained that delays in filing the statement of case was due to what they describe as unavoidable administrative procedures. And the court, however, questioned why no supporting affidavit had been filed alongside the request for extension. The applicant, who is also representing himself, lawyer Noah Ephraim Tete Adamte, was absent in court. Despite the concerns raised, the Supreme Court granted the Attorney General 7 days to submit his legal arguments. The case, which has been pending for nearly a year, is challenging the constitutional basis of the Office of the Special Prosecutor's investigative and prosecutorial powers, filed under Articles 2.1 and invoking the interpretive jurisdiction of the court under Article 130. The suit raises questions about whether Parliament can vest prosecutorial authority in the Special Prosecutor when Article 88 of the Constitution reserves that power for the Attorney General. There's a bit more in terms of development in relation to this, because we know that following that High Court ruling yesterday, Deputy Attorney General Sremsai has put up a post on Facebook suggesting, amongst many other things, that they will in the coming days intend to enforce that High Court decision. As to what it means, we'll get details of it for you pretty shortly. But retired Supreme Court Judge William Atuguba says the High Court's decision in the case between the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the Attorney General is not final and can be appealed at the Supreme Court. He made the remarks after the High Court ruled that the Special Prosecutor lacks prosecutorial powers. The Office of the OSP has since announced plans to challenge the ruling, albeit we're seeing this latest from the Attorney General's office. Let's listen to the former Justice of the Supreme Court.
Normally, I would have thought that the Supreme Court that determines constitutionality.
Friends from GNPC.
But it's not so straightforward, because where the matter is straightforward, the court
from the Oxbridge Club
might apply the Constitution. There's a difference between applying the Constitution and enforcing the Constitution. It's a technical thing.
And immediately after that, we will have the CEO
and unless I see the proceedings,
GNPC.
I can't determine whether what the judge did fitted into application of the Constitution or enforcement, which belongs to the Supreme Court. What the court has done, and what I've read in the papers, is to take away the prosecution powers from the OSP. But the investigative power, the power to investigate, I don't know what's touched upon. So long as the investigative powers have not been struck down, maybe those can continue. The High Court decision is not final. I think there's an appeal also. They can question it in the Supreme Court. Until the Supreme Court finally determines, we can't say that it's...
In some more stories this afternoon, executives of the Bia East constituency of the NDC have submitted a petition to the party's Functional Executive Committee demanding an investigation into the acquisition of portions of the Bia tributaries North Forest Reserve. According to the group, there are claims of opaque and potentially corrupt practices in areas such as Atuguba, which may be depriving local communities of benefits and posing a threat to environmental sustainability.
We are alleging of irregularities and fraudulent acquisition of our forest lands at Atuguba, and we believe that investigation must be conducted so that we get to know who actually owns the compartments. We want their names. We want to know the year they acquired those compartments, and so that we know what is happening. Some people own as many as 20 compartments, which we know in the law it contravenes the laws, and we want investigation to be conducted to come out with the fact of this matter. We cannot count of a single person in Bia East who owns a compartment in the forest reserve. Since 2017, our forest has been depleted, has been given to people we don't know, they don't come from the district. We want our leaders to intervene and investigate. At the same time, we want the ministry to also do his investigation. We're waiting for the next 2 to hear from the Forestry Commission. After the 2 weeks, we will know the next action to take.
Now, this afternoon, government intervention to absorb some 2 cedis on diesel and 36 pesos on petrol prices takes effect today, April 16. Checks at some fuel stations across the country already indicates a reduction in pump prices. But how are drivers and passengers responding to this latest move? Armstrong Gold Alogwe is joining us right now from some lorry terminals. He's been visiting a number of them to pick reactions from drivers and passengers alike. Armstrong, thank you very much. What's been the reaction? Excitement on the part of the drivers?
Demonstration where you see drivers, passengers, all expressing different views and concerns about the reduction in fuel prices across the country. But for many of the drivers, they think that the reduction 2 cedis in diesel price and out of the 0.36 in petrol is inadequate. They believe that at some point they were forced to reduce for their passenger prices, and if at this point the fuel prices have gotten to this level, they should be allowed to increase their prices. For the 2 cedis, they believe is just too small for them to maintain the current prices. And they are saying that government can do better. The 2 cedis and 0.36 is just way too small for them to maintain the price they have now. And that is a view they hold in this station here at Tema Station. Let me talk to a few of them and ask them exactly what the issue is. Daddy, my maintenance and what it's saying. Okay, Daddy, for price, so he says it's a 2 cedis, no government say or no, or the someone say or the Buamo Senebeya, a passenger price, no Muntu.
And yeah, MY. You say, you feel so MY, not fair, I could find a time, no. Now 14. It's about 17. Still no answer the ton. First knock out 200 a good came one. So to 600, 500. But one coffee like a procreation, one will macro don't be the crown. 2 cedis no and country. And country. And then watching a crowd. Well, he believes 2 cedis is way inadequate for them as drivers here because I don't know the day after a hardest work, they still go home with nothing. Daddy, you also agree?
Yeah, many agree. 2 cedis in the MY because senior over Tiso, Napo Maso, Maswatra. What my black crowd do? Only near cost for price near cost on the only near cost. For time, no can, I could find the time, no can. And also buy near a synonym. Apple different home. But if that's only cost any day. Oh, Massa, I know I could put time, I could find the time, no. Or can I say Ukraine? Russia no ekwa no de buy de open dem kra dem wa ape no kra no abetum kra che akuparo de no.
Well, he also believes that the 2 cities is just way inadequate for them, the drivers here. And then he's trying to compare what happened during the former administration and then the current one, using the Russia-Ukraine war and also that of the U.S., Israel, and Iranian war currently happening. Also, that's okay,
that's the end of your free. So it's a that's no free. So no, it's a Puma, as a Puma. This is auto total. Say, BBS will be no, and it's a total as on the price. Puma as on the price. Goya as on price. It's a hand on no year free. So it's a Goya and answer total and answer Puma.
And in 2 cities across board.
As well as so yes will be on the price. And you says here, I must wait for Sudia Puma total. Nina no. Plus no, I'm not I was there when I hear 26. Now Puma no say me 1750.
But at least 2 cities say Yamamo.
That's we say. That's not too far now. They say so ulodu. They say ulodu for the motor one gallon. Eko Madina. Entimi enu.
The 2 cities is well, so more passengers, more drivers here sharing their thought. Let me try and see if I can get some passengers right here to also share with me. At least the fare has been maintained. It has not been increased. Let me find out from these. Oh, you are covering your face. Hi, my friend. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so you've heard that government has added some 2 cities to maintain the transportation fare. You think it's good for you guys?
No.
It's not good?
Yeah.
Why, you want the price to be increased?
No, it should reduce.
They should reduce it. You should add more so they reduce the price.
Yes.
Well, so for this passenger, she believes that, well, if the reduction in fuel price is not going to reflect in their pockets, then it's not good enough. She wants even the prices to affect how much they pay going to their various destinations. So that is what is happening here. Different views where people believe that the 2 cities and 0.36% in diesel and petrol price respectively is way inadequate for them. But however, they hope that going forward, the war happening at Iran between the US, Israel and Iran will come to an end so that we here will stop feeling the impact. Joseph Armstrong, over to you in the studios.
I appreciate you, Joseph, for those details. That's my colleague Joseph Armstrong Goodalogbe. Let's move you on to the Ashanti region, because spare parts dealers in Kumasi, led by the Ashanti regional leadership of the Ghana Spare Parts Dealers Association, have mounted a strong resistance against the introduction of the AI-powered valuation system at the ports, describing it as a major threat to their survival. Now, at a press conference marked by chants and visible frustration, the dealers openly rejected the system and called on government to immediately abolish it. Let's listen to this before we engage. Let's listen to them before we engage my colleague William Evans Inkum.
So, before so be and about since I say we more first in Kranaka or much I say and we are
Let's go to my colleague William Evans Inkum right now, who's joining us via Zoom for a quick chat in relation to these concerns. Evans is joining us. Evans, I appreciate you joining us. What is the crux of their concern and why they want this abolished with such immediacy?
Well, so Mawena, we are looking at 2 things. One has to do with the promise, and the other has to do with a new technology, which of course they claim is the nucleus as far as their media engagement and for want of a better word, protestation this afternoon was concerned. So let me start with the latter. Now, they are saying that the publican AI system, which has been introduced at the port, it's only inflicting the cost of clearing their goods. And if government refuses to reverse this particular system, then it will leave them with no other option than to also transfer the extra cost they are incurring onto their respective customers. And what that means is that we are going to see a hike in the prices of spare parts, because we are talking about the Swami Industrial Magazine or Swami Magazine Industrial Cluster, which is currently hosting about 11,000 active firms. Now, the other one has to do with the promise that they claim prior to the election the president, then candidate John Dramani Mahama, came to them and assured them that there's going to be a flat rate at the port. But that particular promise hasn't been honored. Now they have to face a new technology, which is also making them pay more at the port. So they're only asking the government to reverse this particular system. But one thing they also said, that they are open to negotiation, even if government wants to engage them.
Open to negotiation. In what form do they expect this to take? And how soon are they asking that this be done?
Well, from the body language, it looks like to them there wasn't much of consultation as far as the introduction of this new system is concerned. So they are oblivious about the activation of the system, the processes and all of that. Like it is hitting them like a thunderbolt. They were not expecting such a thing to happen. Now they are faced with the reality. So they want government to engage them, really understand the AI, but then they are also fixated to their position that it is something that needs to be scrapped because it's also not helping them as far as their business is concerned.
Right. Finally, on the impact, were they able to detail to us in the immediacy what the impact of the rollout of this new AI system is looking like on their business in terms of the toll they speak to?
Well, aside the fact that they said in general that it is, they are now paying more, if I have to juxtapose the paying more to what they intend going in the future, that is being compelled to increase their, or threatened to also increase the price of spare parts between 50 and 70%, then probably it is good to say that they are also, at this point in time, with the introduction of publican AI, they are paying around that particular figure, 50 to 70% more than what they used to pay. And that, to them, is worrying.
Right then, Evans, thank you very much for those details. Let's now listen to the traders, the spare parts dealers, as they addressed the press in Kumasi yesterday.
The leadership of Kumasi Spare Parts Dealers Association wished to bring to the attention of the government and the general public a matter of grave concern affecting the trading community in Ashanti region and, for that matter, the entire country. Prior to the assumption of office by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, a meeting was held with GUTA members at AH Hotel in East Legon. During that engagement, a clear and assuring promise was made to implement a flat rate duty system on goods at the ports and ease the burden on traders and promote business growth. However, there has been no visible effort or policy direction reflecting that commitment. Notably, 2 national budgets have been presented to the public, yet neither has addressed this promise. This has left many traders feeling concerned and uncertain about the future of our businesses. Instead, the publican AI system has been introduced at our ports. While we acknowledge the importance of modernization and not opposed to the implementation of an AI system, the current outcome has seen an increase in our duty raised by a margin of 2 times and 3 times compared to our old duties. This increase has placed an overwhelming financial strain on importers and traders, making it difficult to sustain our businesses. We wish to make it clear that we, the spare part dealers in Kumasi, are not against paying
on a table and agreed on as to what we can do, to ameliorate the pain and the suffering that the people are going through. Agriculture is our main preoccupation, and yet when you come to my place, we are still doing this rate for agriculture. Atlas and home, hand to mouth, nothing is going on. And we come in there, do some commercial agriculture farm there so that people can benefit, gain employment from it? Can we irrigate the lands that we have over there so that people can cultivate all year round? Can we build a district hospital that we can, one compensation hospital? Can we build some school blocks here and there? You go to Akwafu Setek and they are cooking for them under a tree. They don't have an administration block. You go to Likpe Secondary School, go and check the kitchen, go and check the dining hall. Even a guest dormitory, it's a problem. You go to St. Mary's, we have problems over there. Or some of the communities within the district, they don't even have a school at all. If you go to Likpe Alavanyo, they don't have a school. If you go to Likpe Avajeme, they don't have a school. If you go to Akpafusopo, they don't have a school. And anytime you enter the country, the first thing that smiles at you is poverty, abject poverty. And so I think that this is a call on all well-meaning Ghanaians. This is a call on the executive and everybody who matter that we need to compensate these people. Because once you're a member of parliament, at least there's a 5% Assembly Common Fund that comes to you for development. Once you are there, there's a fund that comes to Get Fund. There's a fund that comes to National Health Insurance. There's a salary you pick. As a member of parliament, almost every money that comes to your hand, you are virtually like a conveyor belt. Every money I receive as salary every month, I spend almost 100% more of that money in the constituency. I don't keep one cedi in my pocket for my personal use. And so if I had an MP in the past 4 years, what that means that person would have spent those resources in the constituency, and I'm sure the current state in which we are would have moved past that. And so the call that has been made by the venerable Mr. Atuguba is a call in the right direction. And I want to use your platform once again to appeal to all well-meaning Ghanaians, appeal to the executive and everybody that please come to the aid of one. Let us at least show them some love. Let's show the people of one some love. Let them appreciate that they belong to the country and that the constitution of this land is available to protect all persons, regardless of their status or whatever they come from or geographical position they find themselves in this country. For me, if you're able to do that, I'm sure the people will feel satisfied that the nation has compensated them for their wrongs of a unilateral decision. I don't want to believe that some hidden hands were behind that particular decision that was taken.
Absolutely.
Just should have been said.
Finally, from me, in terms of the role that you're going to be playing, are we going to see you engage in some mobilization along with the residents in the constituency?
We ain't some who timi call so that Senator Obadi and Dumbi Edomania. Yeah, a bessentia, Naya Sumo Kwanson.